All right, Bike Chat audience, it is Thursday, 9:09, just a few minutes after Jonah and with you. Bike Chat it is with none other than my fantastic co-host, Mr. Anello Grande, hailing from Rochester, New York, amateur, professional cyclist, beer craft lover, all-around super dad, hopefully trying to sell his house soon. Folks, it's great to have you on Bike Chat. This evening's edition, we are going to be doing a revisit to get the folks from Nickel City Cycles on the show. Now, I apologize, and I may not necessarily be directly myself, but as you know, in the world of live stream, you do run into problems. And last week's show, let's just say, didn't happen. So as we wait for our friends from Nickel City Cycles to get into the show, I just wanted to thank Anello for running a great craft beer blab this week. And if you folks are not aware of that, check it out. It's the
okay. We're hardwired in now.
Tuesday.
There you go.
It is. All right.
See?
I'm on a stool,
And a stool.
This is awesome. It's the beauty of live stream right there, man. Yeah.
The Wi-Fi here is not fast enough apparently, so we just found the world's shortest Ethernet cable. So we're kind of set up high, so we might have to stand for the entire interview.
It's all good. It's all good.
Really? We're just
it's
just
much more
enough. Cool.
Yeah, it's much more energy efficient that way. So you're burning calories. Look at you guys, man. You gave. Are you guys drinking? Are those IPAs? Did you know it's National IPA Day, by the way?
It's no, they're Arizonas.
Oh,
that's okay.
Cowboys.
You know what? We're Tallboy Arizonas. I mean, we're in the same boat. We missed that. So
Okay.
hey, folks, we're very excited to have Nickel City Cycles in the house. Jonah and probably with you, and Gunnar Soros. Thank you for joining us every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know the time, you know the place, and also don't forget, jump over to our Facebook page and give us a like as well to stay in tune with all of what's happening. Share this out to your friends and followers on both Facebook and Twitter. Most importantly, we have Nickel City Cycles in the house. They are
perfect. We're good.
Coming to us from Buffalo, New York. Now, as I said, most folks may or may not know. Sorry about the background noise there. Most folks may not necessarily know that. Again, out of Buffalo come many great things. Not just chicken wings, not just necessarily the Buffalo Bills. Wait, I did say that. Or the Buffalo Sabres. At any rate, it is great to have you folks on
Those last two things
Bike Chats. So, I know, but it's okay. But typically for those folks just tuning in, you know, we do have a fairly large global Bike Chat audience. So if they're trying to reference where everybody's at, they can figure that out. Because clearly, let's face it, I've had some really, really bad rendition of chicken wings outside of New York State. I'll just go on the record and say that.
Yeah.
At any rate. So what is happening? I mean, you got Nickel City Cycles. I mean, you know, without question, I guess a couple things. Tell me the background story, because I mean we've crossed paths and we've been in a number of different events and stuff like that. Tell us a little bit about yourself and like what prompted the hey, let's just start building bikes.
We met at a bike shop, and Pat asked what I did for a living, and I said welding. And when he said, when you can do this, let's start a company. So I sent him a picture of a weld and said, is that good enough? The rest is.
We should preface that Nate came in on like a 1974 touring bike that he wanted fitted. The seat post was stuck and seized in and unable to, with like a quill stem and all kinds of other stuff. So
that's awesome.
It's very new.
Well, it's like a match made in heaven. I mean, but you guys. So did you guys know each other prior to that, or just like it was all Vern and Shirley kind of thing?
Yeah, no, we just kind of met randomly. I rode my cross bike into work, but that day I was riding my Spooky in, and he happened to notice it and say that it was a cool bike or something along those lines. Wow. And then in the process of not fitting this shitty steel bike, we exchanged numbers and bought some tubing for Nate to try to weld, and it worked, so we decided to do it.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
I mean, I mean, you know, I tell you, that takes that takes a lot of balls to put it out there and just say let's do this, because it's funny, we a number of previous episodes, if you recall, we had Joe Graham of Graham Cycles. He used
Yeah.
to be based out of Rochester. He's up in I think he's in New England now, if I remember correctly, but I think he's moving.
Yeah.
And there's also David Ferret. David Ferret. I mean, you guys probably know David Ferret. David lives like literally like right across the street from me almost, but he's building some bikes. And it's funny because there's I always had like I always have chats with people. I'm like how's it going? They're like, oh, pretty good. But it's funny because there's like, it seems to me there's definitely a demand for people that want hand built stuff. Like right? How cool is that?
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Now tell me what as far as like giving the folks a little bit more just of the type of tubing and type of bikes that you build. I don't want to go on a limb and make the assumptive and say you just build cross bikes. What type of bikes are you building, and what type of tubing and tube sets are you using that the customers might be interested in?
Now we've built just about every kind of bike at this point.
Yeah, I would say as of now, our bread and butter at the moment happens to be light touring bikes, gravelly touring bikes, things like that.
Nice.
People that are interested in that seem to have a little bit of expendable cash and a need for being fit on something that's really comfortable.
Nice.
Awesome.
Interesting.
But in general,
sorry, go ahead.
In general, we use Columbus and True Temper, which is going to be devastating now that True Temper is stopping production of their tubing, which really sucks.
Whoa, I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was. Alien life forms or something. So that's pretty awesome. Now you're saying, so for example, you're saying like that touring and gravel is really stronger in terms of the fact of you've built a number of different bikes. Now, how significant of a trend do you see that being? Like, especially like, let's say here in upstate New York, and Gunnar, we've talked about this. Do you feel it's the events themselves that are influencing what the customers want, or the customers are just looking for more user-friendly bikes, or they just wake up and they're like, hey man, we want a hand-built gravel bike or a touring bike? You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I think as far as our customers go, a lot of them are like bike pathing it touring, not so much gravel adventure riding. So they want something that they can put like a wider tire on, that they can ride on the canal trail or the C&O or whatever, that type of situation. And they're not taking 14 months worth of supplies. So something a little lighter works out really well, because there's a lot of really nice heavy duty touring bikes, but not a ton of stuff that's on the lighter side and on the more nimble side, so they can ride it all the time and have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
This brake or levers or?
What was that?
Was that you, Gunnar?
If you guys did mostly disc brakes now for those bikes, or
yeah, almost exclusively disc bike for almost everything, to be honest. The only thing that's rimmed now is the straight up racing bikes, mostly for our ladies team.
Nice. And you guys sponsor a team, or?
Yes. Yeah, we sponsor a Cat 4 women's racing team.
Nice. I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, we saw a pretty big deal for it, so.
Yeah, no, I would, again, I'm certainly not speaking for you, man, but we would definitely both agree with that. I mean, I think there's always, there's always certainly more room for that particular category rider for sure. And yeah, I mean, wow, that's really exciting news. I mean, I actually had no idea that you guys were doing that. Tell me, and the audience, our bike chat audience, what right now is like your footprint of exposure? I mean, we've come into contact through cross, that kind of stuff. I mean, I just found out that you guys are sponsoring a women's road team, which is fantastic. Right now, what's your level of exposure in just, I guess, not just so much the upstate New York marketplace, but where are you seeing the most significant traction right now with the Nickel City Cycles brand?
I mean, it's definitely the Buffalo area, but
Gotten a lot of customers out of Canada as of late.
so I got a bike that hopefully will be finished being put together. Just got it back from paint today. That's going out to Canada. And we've got one in Edinburgh, Scotland also, which is pretty cool. Which is like really
Yeah,
cool.
there you go. Nice. Well, that's that's certainly a worthy cause. Hey, so Lola, looks like Lola had a question. Hey, Lola, we're definitely talking with folks from Nickel City Cycles, but we certainly will field that question. Best way to teach a scared kid biking? Well, the conversation being is, there's a couple conversations as far as the sizing of the bike, those kinds of things. You want to make sure that certainly the bike is the right size for the child, or the other conversation too is in some cases either they're a very, very small child, like my 2-year-old, a balance bike works really well,
Mm-hmm.
or honestly, the good old fashioned training wheels work really good.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people hate on them, but you know what? I mean, I'm thinking to myself, have a kid not be able to ride a bike, use training wheels. They figured out you get a kid that rides a bike versus sitting on the couch. So
Mm-hmm.
I
that
actually
would
have some background teaching kids how to ride bicycles. Yeah, so
nice.
how old are they? She answer, maybe?
Yeah, it'll come up on.
No, jumped off. They jumped off.
Oh,
They
okay.
jumped off. That's all right. Yeah. So well,
Well,
that's what happens live streaming. So, at any rate, it looks like you guys got. It's something like sounds like somebody's vacuuming. Is that on your end, or is that because I don't know. That's definitely not me. How about Gunnar? Are you running a vacuum cleaner?
I'm not a vacuum cleaner. I keep putting myself on mute, thinking maybe if it was me, it would mute out. But yeah, I guess I don't know where it's coming from.
Oh yeah, it's my computer fan.
Oh,
It's about 110 degrees in our shop, so.
Holy cow! Yeah.
Oh, no wonder. I was like, I'm like, man, I'm sitting there looking around. So that's all right.
Yeah, no, okay, so it's my computer fan.
No,
it's on its last leg, so.
Yes, no, we don't want you to. Don't blow up your computer because of bike chat. We don't want to do that. So awesome. So you're definitely it certainly sounds like you guys have an awesome product, and it looks like you're getting a lot more traction and exposure. And I mean, certainly with Scotland, I mean, definitely that's gonna put you on the map globally, which is pretty fantastic. Give us sort of a day in your brains. I mean, what is like the start to finish? Let's say Gunnar called you up and said, hey, hey guys, I want you to build me, Gunnar, what kind of bike do you want?
I don't know. I guess I want a fat bike now. Everybody has a fat bike, and I don't have one. So,
all right,
you guys do fat bikes?
So let's say,
sure.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
So now, what if he's looking for a fat bike? What type of time frame? He gives you the specs. You guys size him up. So run us through that process, because I think the folks out there are listening.
Yeah, he'll end up talking to me usually. So I do most of basically I do a lot of the prep work and does all of the designing and pre-welding stuff, and Nate comes in and welds on the weekends. So this is a weekend gig for Nate and a full-time gig for me at this point. So, but you end up talking to me, and we'll sit down, we'll talk about what you're looking to do, what kind of riding you're going to do. If you're, I don't know, for a fat bike, are you going to pack it up and use it as like some sweet bike packing thing, or are you just going to ride it in the snow, so you want it to be a cross-country bike, that type of thing. And then we got a fit bike that changes all shapes and sizes and angles. And you get you up on that and dial in your position ahead of time.
Nice.
That way we can really know how the bike's going to fit, and then depending on what kind of riding you're doing, how much you weigh, how you want the bike to ride, we choose. Usually don't use complete tube sets. We just use individually kind of cherry picked tubes to really dial in the quality. Very rarely is like a whole bike Columbus SL or something. It's usually like a mix and match of everything.
Nice. That's so how would you describe, like, I mean, this is maybe an ambiguously vague question, but like, how would you describe the ride quality of your bike? Like, for example, I don't know. I mean, like, I had like a Le Mans steel road bike back in the day, because everybody kept telling me steel is real, steel is real, steel is real. So I'm used to a lot of that quick, tight, twitchy kind of feeling. I ride an aluminum mountain bike now, which is a whole different spectrum. But what would you say, would be a Nickel City Cycles characteristic of how your bikes ride?
I mean, we can do a lot of different stuff. So we try to keep them
smooth. Depending on what kind of tubes you want, it'd be super stiff or super smooth or nice power transfer.
Sure.
Yeah, you can really dial in. So you can build. So like our race bikes are not that whippy steel race that you think of, or steel feel that you think of, but they're the modern alloys like the Columbus Spirit and the Troop Temper S3. They're pretty brutal. You can make a really stiff bike with them and get them to be really, really light. Like my road bike's a sub 15-pound steel bike. So
nice.
Yeah.
Fun. I bet you that's gotta be a good ride for sure. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. That's fantastic. Now, what about it sounds like you guys are did you bootstrap the company? Did you kickstart it? Did you do any fundraising? I mean, you're just like, hey man, let's just start.
Yeah, no, we decided just to do it, and
emptied our bank accounts and went for it.
We emptied our bank accounts and went for it. Yeah.
Hey, that's the true entrepreneurial experience, man. Go for broke.
Welders
you guys have,
we didn't pay ourselves for 3 years.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
Just
so
beat it up for a while.
Oh my, that's insane. So how long? I mean, so what's the official shelf life of Nickel City Cycles? How long have you guys officially been on
4.5 years?
We started our Facebook page February 14th, 2013. So it was Facebook official.
That's awesome. Hey, listen, that is amazing. I mean, Gunnar, what do you think, man? What a great story that is.
Yeah, no, I think it's awesome. I mean, just get a couple of people together that have this, hit it off, and okay, hey, let's do this, and sure enough, you get going. So I think that's great. I just had a question popped out of my head. Yeah, I can't think of it.
Too much.
So I got one for you now. Here's an interesting question I've yet to actually ask a frame builder. Would you build an e-bike?
No.
We already did.
Yeah, you really did.
I wasn't told we did.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
we built a bike for a little person, and she's had both of her hips replaced and both of her knees replaced more than once. So we built this little tiny 24-inch step-through bike with just one down tube, and she ended up really enjoying it, but wanting to ride with her friends further. And it was the first time she's ridden a bike in like 15 years. It was horrible when we delivered the bike. She cried. I felt bad asking for the rest of her money. Without the bike, she physically can't ride a bicycle. It's a really cool bike. But she wanted to ride with friends who were able to go up hills, but because of her hips and knees and stuff, she's unable to put enough torque down to go up a hill.
Right.
So we actually did an e-bike conversion on that. So I know Nate's very against it, but yes, we've made one already.
Listen, I gotta tell you, and Gunnar, I'm sure he's gonna chime in on this one as well. I mean, I think this is my bike chat take. Love it, like it or hate it. I believe that e-bikes are going to not only come into the industry in a much more relevance, because you're going to start to see more brands recognize customers that you're dealing with, and it's essentially flipping the coin. It's like not be able to allow a customer like that to experience cycling and be a cyclist, right? Or be able to bend to the traditional mantra of, oh, we can't do that, and do it. So in bike chat world, we have two different schools of thoughts. Like, great idea, awesome, commuters, getting people on bikes, keeping up with your friends. But then we also have the Jonah and Gunnar conversation about, what the hell's going to happen with these people taking these like e-bikes and pedal assist bikes off road, right? So there's really the two conversations, and I get it. Sorry, go ahead.
It becomes really dangerous too on the road. I've had experience with that, like road riding and having somebody who, it's not even like they're somebody who's gotten older and used to ride with the quote unquote A group or the racers, right? You just have somebody who's suddenly now can keep up with the guys that can go 25 miles an hour. And you have this guy who's squirrely as all get out. And this is back when I was a junior, when Bionics probably just came out. And we had this guy start riding with our group in Utica, and we had to he took somebody out, and we had to tell him he can't come anymore. So
oh no,
it's I can see it being really good. It extends your ability to ride longer and all those other things, but it's certainly dangerous in a group when people are pushing themselves hard and you're not used to it.
Right. No, and I think that's been a lot of our discussions as of late when it comes to e-bikes is that like the case that you guys just had where you build a bike for a little person so that she can ride with her friends and stuff. That's the perfect situation for it, and other people with disabilities and that kind of stuff. I think it's great. But yeah, like getting into a road ride when you're riding with the fast guys and you're not seasoned and you didn't build up to that point where you can keep up with them, then I can see total issues with that. And hopefully people play it safe and don't get too far into that before they get a lot of other people hurt. So
right. I got one for you, and this might be for a couple of those folks that are kind of chiming in the audience. Where is your thought train right now with what is happening in the OEM wars with our friends Shimano and SRAM right now?
Like that?
Do you feel? Yeah. Oh yeah. No. And I know who's already chiming in on this. So. Like, for example, do you guys have? Well, first of all, again, is a multi-pointed question. So let's just get down to the simple part of that. Are you guys of the SRAM mentality, or are you guys of the Shimano mentality?
I have microshift on my bicycle. I think it all works. To be honest, I think it can all work really well. I think it can all work really badly, and I think it's basically pretty much the same to me. To be totally honest, I don't have a huge, a huge opinion on it.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, we build complete bikes.
Yeah, I think that Jonathan. Yes, they do build complete bikes. So one of the things I want to throw out there is on a recent conversation that I had with an individual that might be in this audience that might remain nameless. Is there have been some huge conversations with speccing like Shimano products on a specific big box brand, and this particular IBD owner was kind of butting heads with the unnamed big box vendor and saying, hey, why in the world are you speccing so many bikes with Shimano and not SRAM? And the conversation being is that because SRAM is so ridiculously I don't want to say undervalued, but in the European market, everybody loves Shimano. So if you're looking at these big conglomerate builders, they're looking at, I don't know, maybe they're not even looking at the U.S. market, but they're saying, oh, well, because everybody in Europe wants Shimano, we're going to.
I mean, it changes each season too. If you remember, just 2 seasons ago, everybody had SRAM on their bikes, So I don't know if it's something I'm too worried about. I know it's easier for us to get SRAM stuff. It's almost always in stock. And the Shimano stuff only has one real vendor in the US that we can get stuff from. So, the big Q.
Right.
Sometimes it's not easy to get your hands on, and SRAM is, I will say, a little better to us as an OEM company to get their stuff.
Sure.
So they're a little easier to get their hands on. They've got a nicer price point, which we can pass on to the customers too. So that's also nice. A lot of our stuff does have SRAM on it.
And that answers Jonathan's question. He said, do you guys commit to groups? You have to commit to group sets, not group sets.
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Here.
No, you don't have to commit to group sets. We, a lot of times what happens is, to be honest, most of the people who are coming to us for custom frames, it's surprising to find out how little they're actually in the cycling world. And you're dealing with people who are maybe not versed in all of the tech stuff. And a lot of times what happens is they have this budget in mind and they're like, build me the best bike for this price. And we build, you know, almost sometimes if it's a lower price point, particularly like 3.5 or under 3, sometimes you can swing it for different bikes. We spec them almost as if it's a, like, you could tell if it was like owned by someone who worked in a bike shop, you know, and it's got like a SRAM force shifters, a SRAM rivalry derailleur, or, you know, wherever we think the best bang for the buck for the amount of money the person has. So it's not just a group set, but as you go up the line, we try to keep it, you know, it's nicer to put the nice stuff on, obviously.
What about electronic shifting? Have you guys been doing a lot of bikes with that? You know, Di2, or is SRAM's version even available publicly yet?
So I've got a SRAM DI, or yeah, we've got the SRAM ETAP in stock here at the shop right now. That's going on a tri bike. Yeah, they all of their stuff sold yesterday. That was in stock. It came in stock. I got a call from them, and then I called the customer. I was like, I need your credit card number. There's not enough time for you to even pay me.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
So yeah, they had something like 30 or 40 of them at Q, and they were eaten up pretty much immediately. And they were only the TT versions. You can't get your hands on the road stuff. It comes in a really nice heavy box with like magnets and stuff. It's like a beautiful presentation. It's like you open it up. It's like a piece of fine dining set or something.
Yeah, though, that's a shame because the customer is not going to see those fancy boxes and the case, are they? I mean, I guess you could give it to them, but then what are they going to do with the empty boxes?
But yeah, they can't live in it.
Here's a nice box for you, you know.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing because, you know, it's like a lot of times, like you say, you know, you don't see that other side of the coin, and usually it's funny because most bike shop employees are just like, okay, yeah, great, whatever. They take it out and they smash the boxes down, and they throw the parts on the ground. Customer never even gets to see it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Sorry, there's a wood shop here too, and now people have decided to start sanding things. So we're in this like shared art space. So there's like artists and us and a couple other metal workers, some woodworkers, some other like small entrepreneur people. There's people that make 3D printers here. Actually, the first liquid aluminum 3D printer was invented by a guy who works here, which is crazy.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty rad. Hey, Jonathan Perez has a customer. He says, do your customers negotiate price when they're purchasing a Nickel City?
No, not usually. I think we're priced pretty.
Nice.
We're pretty
awesome.
competitive as far as that goes.
That's awesome.
We're not crazy expensive. I mean, if you're not used to seeing hand-built numbers, then it's probably expensive. As far as hand-built goes, it's not crazy.
Well, yeah, and I think a lot of people, you know, buy the experience, they buy the brand. I mean, you know, we've had our friends from Squid Bikes on the show, you know, Emily and Anthony Clark, and you know, you just see the things that they're doing, and you know, people are buying a Squid bike just because of the whole experience, the whole
awesome,
the whole customization aspect of it. So I mean, they really have, you know, an awesome way to entice their customers to want to buy their products, right? And I think you know, as I said, you know, I've seen a good number of your bikes out on the cyclocross courses, and you know, they're very unique, they're very different, they stand out, and I feel like that's one of the hard things to do these days is really build truly good quality bike that really stands out. I think it's hard to really be able to, you know, build a bike and not have like that token cookie cutter bike and like, oh, they're building a bike and that's just like blah blah blah, you know. And I feel like consumers are really quick to judge that too, and that they see bikes and they immediately try to stereotype and pigeonhole them, like, oh, well, that's like that bike, or that's like that suspension, or that's like that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's just an interesting thought.
it's kind of easy to stay away from getting pigeonholed. You're doing every single one of your frames one off, and there's no model. Like, no one's buying a road bike and it's this model. It's just their road bike. So they end up pretty unique to begin with, just from the different fits people have. But in general, we try to stick to like pretty simple, classic look to it, and simple's better type of situation for us. I don't like a ton of crazy embellishments and overbent tubes or all kinds of crazy stuff. Like, simple works really well and it rides really well. So
nice. That's awesome. What about I mean, you know, and it sounds like you guys are pretty versed in a lot of different things. Have you thought about into any type of suspension platforms, or that sort of like, whoa, let's not go there? Is that going to get too complex? And it sounds like you're trying to stick to things that are more, you know, single.
We're building our first suspension bike this winter.
full suspension, yeah.
Nice. Love it. Love it. So are you doing 29er, 650B, fatty, undescribable?
Well, I bought 45 29er tubes, so I'm stuck with that platform for a while.
Price point went out of business. You bought them for a quarter.
I had some great deals.
That's right. That's right. Hey, fair enough. Fair enough. But the good news is it is interchangeable. So that's great. And so now, as far as like the mountain bike side of things go, are you regularly building, like, you know, hardtail mountain bikes, single speed or geared, or how's that going?
We've built, what, 2 mountain bikes?
Yeah, just a couple. It's not a huge popular thing around here for us, at least. But we haven't been. So I've been pretty embedded in the road world and cyclocross world right from the start. So I come from the roadie background and cyclocross background. So I've been pretty embedded in that. And Nate doesn't really come from a cycling background. So although he loves cycling and he's in the cycling world now, but
I definitely come from the manufacturing part.
But yeah, overall, we haven't spent a lot of time in the mountain bike world, which limits our ability to interact with people who would even want to or know about us, you know? So we spent a lot of time this year. We've been mountain biking. We got back from mountain biking just before we started this interview. But yeah, we did this, like the Sprague Brick Race Series. We plan on going to Single Track Stampede and hopefully the Harris Hill Hustle and stuff like that. So
Jonah follows me on Instagram. He knows how much I mountain bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, you're killing it. Although I tell you, man, if you want a great freaking Instagram feed that is well worth your time, that's the one. I gotta say to you, there's a video clip you put on there that I'm not even gonna describe it or do it justice, but you were doing like a selfie, and let's just put it this way: it was a video selfie that went really wrong. So I'll just.
Is this the cross bike?
No, it's the one with Colin on the teeter-totter.
Oh, the teeter-totter, right? Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, that was I
You
like
call that
literally
Nate?
I probably watched.
Yeah, he shows up with a cut. What were you doing? You know, Nate stuff.
Yeah.
So
It was, and the best part about that, it was like totally unexpected, because I'm watching like, oh, whatever, he's just gonna clean this and run away and then come back and like high five the camera. But I mean, the fact that he actually crashed like right at the camera.
The still picture he posted online before the video made it look like he was trying to like straight up bunny hop over, because the angle, you could see the teeter-totter, and then the angle of him was like completely perpendicular. So he like got up halfway on the teeter-totter and then turned and came off the thing. Or I don't know how it happened.
The video is 5 minutes long, and you can see everybody that I rode with. They go over.
Oh, everyone else clears it great.
The next guy goes over. I come up, stop in the middle, fall right off.
Yep.
That's funny.
All right, Growler Bikes is taking off. Have to hop off. Nicholas City, keep up the good work. Your bikes kick ass. All right, okay. All right, Wheelo, good to see you, man. Thanks for checking out Bike.
Bye,
Chat.
thanks.
Great night. Good to see you.
I thought this said Ariana Grande.
We're about
whoa.
10 minutes.
Ariana Grande's watching the show.
Yeah. Well, group sex, group sets. It's always a fine line. One F Gears in the house. What's going on? One
You'll
F
get
Gears?
along with Nate.
As always, another regular on Bike Chat, folks. If you're just tuning in now, you're what? That's right. Bike Chat Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name is Joe DePasquale. I'm here with my co-host Gunnar Soros. This show, we are talking with the folks from Nickel City Cycles out of beautiful Buffalo, New York. We've been hearing some great stories, the trials and tribulations of just being two young entrepreneurial frame builders. About 4 years into it. Also on Facebook page, you can follow them. And hey, by the way, what is the best way that a customer can contact you guys to get the ball rolling with ordering a frame today?
Ooh, it'd be our email at nickelcitycycles@gmail.com, or send us a Facebook message, or yell at us. That seems to work pretty good.
Any platform will get you an answer, or we'll contact you back usually within an hour. So we're usually near something we can
that's solid.
get in touch with you easily. So.
All right. Well, that's great. Good. That is that's definitely good to hear. And so now there's a big bike show, or I should say, big outdoor show we're going on now in Utah, and you guys are definitely not there. You guys have any plans to do any type of interbike stuff or any type of bike shows or anything like that?
At some point,
we're going to Philly, but we're not presenting there. So we're scoping out our.
We're not really sure how much. So it costs a lot of money to do.
Yeah.
So we're not really sure how we want to go and talk with some people and see what it's actually like. Will it even really pay off in the end? Like as far as an investment goes, it's a bunch of money for some people who don't have a lot of money to shell out to not get a bike sale or to not get enough exposure out of it or whatever. So we're gonna go check it out first.
Sure. I mean, I can definitely, appreciate that. I mean, you certainly know that there's a cost of money to go there, but like you said, it's the demographic that you're going after. So yeah, no, that's tough, man. I mean, it certainly makes it challenging to continue to do what you do. What's the best? I mean, what's the best referral for you? I mean, again, certainly sounds like somebody who wants a bike. I mean, that much is given. But you mentioned somebody who likes gravel, somebody who wants a custom bike. I mean, what's like if I'm out and about at a coffee shop or pub, who's going to be a great referral for Nickel City Cycles that wants a custom?
Probably just somebody that has one of them.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that's really worked out really well for us, I'd like to think it's part of us not being, I guess, horrible people in the first place, and you get a lot of misogynistic stuff going on in bike shops a lot of times, even in the best sometimes, right. So I'd like to think that we're not like that, but in general, I guess we have to give some credit to the ladies team. But I don't know what this past couple years stats has been as far as sales to women in general from the bike industry. But I know a few years ago, the statistics were only like 13% of bike sales went to women. And this past year, we were 53% to women. So we're pretty happy with that. So our average customer is actually usually it's a woman. So that helps a lot. And being the fact that we've gained that, that's one of our things that we do is build frames for women a lot of times now. They don't really sacrifice like a lot of the other bikes do. So
that is
right.
that is fantastic. And look at Joy Gouge. She just jumped in. She was on Bike Chat pretty recently. That might be somebody you want to talk to as far as getting another female on your product. But it's interesting. It's interesting you say that because I don't know if you guys recall. You guys recall Terry Bicycles, right? Remember Terry Bicycles? Well, Terry Bicycles was right out of here in Macedon in Rochester, and Georgiana. They used to kill it. I mean, they're still, they've kind of moved on, but I mean, I can remember, I just every single corner I turned, I saw a custom built Terry bike, and I mean, they weren't cheap by any way, shape, or form, and the people that wanted those bikes, they were primarily the female demographic. So, I mean, let's not make any mistakes about it. I mean, they have the money, they're very knowledgeable, they know what they want. The internet is by all means strengthen them to understand a little bit more clearly what it is they're looking for. I mean, are they expert welders? Maybe not. Are they versed in like specific tube sets that they want for the bike? No, but they may have a good idea or preference of the type of bike that they want, and obviously the fit seems like that's part of the process to make that work. I guess the question is the fit experience. How does that go down? I mean, do you say, oh, what's your inseam, what's your reach, blah blah blah? I mean, you said you had a fit, you have a fit cycle. How does that work? And give us a little, kind of run through of what it would be like if Gunnar or I were to come and say, all right, we want a gravel bike. How would you size us up?
Yeah. So we've got it's a fit bike, and it changes shapes and angles and everything. So we can change the seat tube angle, top tube length, seat tube length, head tube length. We've got one of those salsa stem things that changes lengths and angles, and you name it. Several different bars, a bunch of different saddles, crank lengths, things like that. So we get you on the bike. We generally ask you to bring your favorite bike, no matter whether, even if you're getting a road bike. If your favorite bike's your mountain bike, bring that. And we can get a look at that, how it fits you, maybe why you like it, or just to have a good way to talk about why someone likes a bike. So a lot of times people they can't describe to you what they want in a bike easily, right, but they can describe what they didn't like about something, sure, or they can describe a sensation that they like about their current bike. And sitting down and talking with them for an hour or so while we're fitting, sometimes a lot more, sometimes a little less, depending on how well I personally know the person. And that lets us really figure out what we're gonna build, how we're gonna build it, what it's gonna be made out of, what shape it's gonna be, what angles, name it. So you've got your fit dimensions that are determined by how the person, their position. That's the position. Yeah. So that would be like seat tube angle, top tube length, head tube height. Yeah. And then you've got the dimensions that really determine how the bike handles. So the chainstay length, bottom bracket drop, the head tube length, or the head tube angle, and the fork rake to equal the trail. And you combine those together, and you can make a bike that balances really well under a person. So they're not too much weight on the front. But like from a personal standpoint, I have a really long torso. Someone who's 6 feet tall probably, and I'm only 5'7". So if I sit on a stock bike, let's say my old Jameis Eclipse, I actually had to have a 140 millimeter stem on it to make it long enough for me, and not, I guess I could have ridden the 54, but then I would have had a head tube that wasn't tall. It was too tall for me. So I've got this little tiny bike with a really long stem on it, but still only, only this much seat post showing because I've got these tiny legs. So then I end up with all of my weight on the front wheel. So that's when I got that spooky, and it was like a game changer as to how bike handles when the balance of the bike is right underneath you.
Nice. Yeah, that makes having a properly fit bike. I mean, that goes without saying. We can't emphasize that enough for sure. Hey, quick question for you. Looks like Jonathan asks, he says, are you turning more women on to cyclocross?
I think we are.
I wouldn't say it's specifically us. I think between us and Campus Wheelworks and the bike shop in Buffalo, we have a really strong, really supportive and inclusive cycling scene that is very specifically looking at cyclocross. Mm-hmm. So Campus Wheelworks does their cyclocross practices on Thursdays, and both, the bike shop and campus have a lot of women that are riding in their clubs, and they inevitably turn out a lot of people to show up to them also. Nice. As well as a lot of our road racers end up doing cross. But in general, to start with, I would say that our ladies were some of the first ones kind of out there. There was very few women racing, and we thought that was kind of crappy, especially coming for me, I'm from the Utica area. So I always saw, to begin with, there was a Terry team.
Right, exactly.
And there was a Mission in Motion team. They were from Binghamton. And I don't remember the name of the team from the Albany area to start with, but there was another women's team out there, and all these teams were fielding like 8 and 9 person teams at races that I would see. So it was normal for me to see a 20 to 30 person women's field. And when I moved out to Buffalo, I saw like 3 women racing in the Cat 5 race. So it's just very different.
All right.
Buffalo was really behind.
Nice. Jonathan Tripp asked, he said, Jonathan Perez asked, do you make accessories, bottle cages, racks, and seat posts? Question mark.
We can, but we haven't really done seat posts, no racks, no cages. We've done stems,
Toppers.
Yeah, seat mast toppers, stuff like that.
Nice.
But in general, no, we don't do bottle cages. We don't do racks. We're pretty happy with a lot of I really like Salsa. They make some pretty awesome racks that are affordable. It becomes a little crazy to spend that kind of money on a rack for our customers, at least.
Yeah. Nice. Good stuff, man. Well, hey, Anello, welcome back. Good to see you, man. Got stuck in cyberspace there. We're coming up on the top of the hour. Anello, you got anything for our friends from Nickel City Cycles?
So, how big are you guys, and where do you guys see yourself in like a couple of years or 5 years down the line?
Yeah, I guess still having a wait list and still being really small. We like the idea of being small and having, each one of our customers be somebody that we get to know, and they know who's building their bike. We know who we're building the bike for.
Maybe different location.
Eventually, maybe our own shop instead of a big shared metal shop. But in general, small
awesome.
with a wait list like we are right now.
Perfect.
So,
that's awesome.
Focus
and,
getting and then
go ahead.
Control your company by doing what you do. So.
Nice. And a question for you: would you ever think about having other bike shops sell your frames? Would that ever be something you guys would be interested in? Is that a possibility?
Yeah, I mean, we've had that happen in the Utica area. So one of the shops I used to work at has sold a bike. Ethan at campus has sold one of our bikes, which was nice of him. Yeah, Eric in Hamburg referred to us, but he didn't actually sell it to the shop. So, yeah, I mean, it's always easier just to come straight to us, especially when you're in Western New York, and you can get to our shop and do a fit and actually meet us. But if you're too far away to get to us, then go into your shop and ask about us and tell them that we'd be happy to work with, any shop that wants to sell a bike. Right. It's pretty easy. We're not closed up to the idea by any means.
So that guy in Scotland, did he come in for a fitting, or was it just through like?
Her parents live in Buffalo.
Yeah, she was originally raised in Buffalo to begin with, and she comes back to Buffalo 2 times a year, and for whatever reason decided to buy the bike here. I think it was mostly because we sponsor a women's race team. Even though it was just a commuter bike, she thought that was really cool and important.
That's awesome.
And it went back to Scotland, so it's over there now.
Sweet. There you go, man. You never know. That's how it starts, man. All they got to do is see one. Awesome.
So.
Well, listen, guys, we're at the top of the hour. Is there anything else you'd love to let the Bike Chat audience know before we call it an evening?
It's really hot in this building right now. I'm sweating.
I'm so sweaty.
See, my shirt's soaked through. It's ridiculous.
Well, we're very grateful for your time. Thank you so much, folks. We have Nickel City Cycles in the house. Check them out. They're on Facebook, Instagram, as well as a number of other social platforms you can find them. And again, it's nickelcitycycles@gmail.com. Is that correct?
Yep.
You can inquire about any type of information from a custom-built bike. You can talk about anything. Almost, you could probably have them build, and including sounds like mountain bikes maybe are on the back burner there coming through the winter. So stay tuned more from that. This is Bike Chat. Jonah Pasquale with you. Co-host Gunnar, or again, Anello Grande, runs an awesome craft beer blab. You want to check that out. We just had our annual show this past Tuesday. Craft beer blab was a lot of fun. Certainly check that out. Great news this coming week. Next, I should say, we are going to be with the folks from ESI Grips. Very excited. The first silicone grips. Hey guys, are you guys familiar with ESI grips at all? Speechless.
Yep.
Are you familiar
Yep.
with ESI grips at all? Well, we're gonna have them on Bike Chat. Hopefully, you guys can check them
Yes.
out. Other than that, perfect. Other than that, Jonah DePasquale signing off with Anello Grande and our folks from Nickel City Cycles. Until then, be well, and we will see you next Thursday with our folks from ESI.